started our assignment on our novel runner that we're studying this semester. As you know, you choose one activity from each of the different sections. So we made a good start on section 1. We're all pretty familiar with what is expected in this section. In this particular section here, there are 2 tasks. If you choose the first one, to summarise what you know about Squizzy Taylor, using knowledge gained from reading the novel, please do not go to the internet to copy and paste. Just use what you know. Now, they can be dot points. I'd imagine you would have 10, 15, maybe 20 different dot points. Provide a heading, make it look really nice and presentable. What do you understand about him as a person? How did you get to know him? What did you think about his character? What sort of character was he? What sort of activity was he involved in? The next one says to write a short article for the Ballarat newspaper detailing the record-breaking win of Charlie Feehan. Now, if you're writing a newspaper article, and it's a good one to do, you're writing a report. You're writing it as an eyewitness account. Do not say, I was at the track and I saw this. Just tell us what happened. So here's a copy of the Argus, the newspaper at the time, somewhere in the 1920s, I can see at the top here. So this is how newspapers look. It's long columns, very narrow, so they're easy to read left to right. If you're writing a newspaper, you've got to have a headline, a report, a byline, a lead paragraph which tells you who, what, when, where, why. A picture is always handy, and a caption for your photograph. Now, here's one that one of the students wrote a few years ago. This one here is about the bashing of Norman, and you'll notice this lead paragraph last night in the Fitzroy Gardens. A boy by the name of Norman Heath was bashed by 6 thugs. It was believed he was walking through the gardens with his mate Charlie Feehan when he was set upon by a group of undesirable thugs. It would seem from reports that his friend was not injured. Okay. Not a bad little introduction, a bit of tidying up to do, a bit of polishing, and I really want you to polish your work. But you do get to find out the who, the what, the when, the where, the why. And then this part here really puts all of this information into greater detail. Notice it's not saying I this and I saw this and I'm going to tell you and in this story I'm going to tell you. You never use that. Please don't use that. Here's one about the Ballarat Mile. Flying Feehan wins the Ballarat Mile. Picture, caption, byline, a lead paragraph telling you the who, what, when, where, why. Please do not copy this one. This is just a sample. Okay, so let's move on back to the assignment and we'll go to the apply section. Squizzy Taylor was a notorious gangster. From the early 1900s, research information about him and his activities. So you're going to research. Please don't go to Wikipedia. There are some really great places you can find information, at least 250 words. And you're just writing an account of a typical day in his life from his point of view, so you are becoming him. If you want to find out a lot more about what his life was like, you can go to this very reliable source, which is called Trove, and you go to the digitised newspaper section. I should just go back here. And here it says digitised newspapers, and you write Squizzy, and you can even put Taylor in there. Hit search. Down the left, it tells you all the newspapers. The Argus, Melbourne, let's have a look, or The Age, Melbourne. Let's go to the Argus. And friendly with Squizzy Taylor. Revolver duel, 2 men killed Squizzy Taylor as a victim because he did die in a gun shootout in 1927. You can have a look at any of these stories. And when you click on one of these stories, it actually shows you the newspaper of the day, and it highlights the section which features the story, and then it rewrites a text in a font that you're able to see here on the left-hand side. And you can read an actual story from the day of the event. So this is pretty much primary source evidence here if we're thinking about history. Okay, next task. If you were to interview a character from the novel, what 5 questions would you ask? And you have to include their answers. Think how they felt, what their motives were. You can interview Charlie, Barlow, Nostrils, Alice, anyone you're interested in. Squizzy, Dolly, Snowy Cutmore. But ask questions that you would like to know the answers for, and then imagine what their response would be based on your knowledge of the story. In this one here, if you want to do some drawing, that's fine. So you need to illustrate 3 major events from the story, what you think are the 3 major, and then explain why you believe they are the most important. So a bit of choice there. Your explanation for each image should possibly be a good paragraph, I would think. Moving along to the next section, using a Venn diagram to contrast life in Richmond in 1919. So you know what life was like. You got a bit of an understanding from the life of Charlie and Nostrils and Ma and Mr. and Mrs. Redmond. So a Venn diagram looks a bit like this. Yeah, on this side you'd write about Richmond 1919, what life was like, and on this side you'd say, here we are 2018, nearly 100 years later, what life is like. What sort of things have they got in common would go in the middle. I'd imagine you'd have at least 15 different things on each side. Create a fact file on a football player who played in the VFL in 1919. So again, I found a website, Australian Football. It's up here, australianfootball.com, articles. Lots of different information here of the AFL, the VFL. Where was the VFL? So you could click on one of the VFL clubs at the time. Well, these are the current one, but if we go back in time, this is 1920 personalities, and you can pick different players from the times. I know it said 1919. I'm happy with 1920. And even if you want to include an image, that would be great. Going down to our second last section, creating a new front cover for the novel and include a detailed blurb. Please don't copy the blurb that is on the novel. That would be plagiarizing. It's your blurb. How would you capture the essence of the novel runner in 100 words for anyone looking to read it? Make sure that your front cover is totally different to the one that you have in front of you on your desk. Be creative. Think deeply about how you could entice a reader to pick up this book. Next one. Mr. Redmond has decided to open a running club, and he is the head trainer. He has developed a set of criteria for his team of runners. So they're in the training sheds ready to go out and do their run, and he has on the wall this list of 10 different top tips for training. What do you think he would have up there? At least 10. Make it look like a nice fancy board, motivational, maybe a motivational quote somewhere from Mr. Redmond. But really think deeply about that. And lucky last, this is where you're going to be giving your opinion. These 2 tasks here, you're evaluating. So to determine the quality, it says write a review of the novel for the Whitefriars School newsletter or website. It should be detailed but not give away too much. So your review is your opinion, a bit of a snapshot of what the story's about to maybe encourage people. Give it a rating, say why you've given it that rating, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, who you'd recommend it to. So try to be convincing. And lucky last, this one here is a bit of fun too. Who do you think is the greatest hero in the novel? And why do you believe they stand out above the rest? So who would you believe is the greatest hero? Again, you've won a few paragraphs here. This is sort of like we did with the essay, trying to find evidence. You can have your opinion. You can state your feelings about this particular question, but you need to back it up with examples from the novel. So please do that. Do your very best. Polish all your writing. Look deeply into it. You'll get the rubric shortly, so you can look at what it is we're going to be assessing you on, or how we're assessing you, I should say. And have fun. Give me your best, and look forward to getting your work as it comes through.